Okay, welcome back to episode 4. As you can see, we've made some progress, only in terms of leveling up and getting a large amount of food and more health. We haven't found a way to increase our stats, but there is a way we have managed to increase our health, and I'm going to show you that now, since one of the characters needs an increase. So we'll get out of that. As you can see, we went from 40,000 moves to 125,000 moves, so quite a considerable time. It's probably been a few days since I posted the last video, showing how long it took me to get this far. I spent a lot of time dying and reloading to get this far. It was very difficult to make some decent headway without dying. Anyway, Lord British here will help us increase our health. We just transact with him, and number 1 and direction. Welcome, my child. Seek ye the Mark of Kings. Well, since we're going to do some spelunking, we will do that. In the meantime, well, let's have a look at his stats, and it's the same as before. However, the Mark of Kings will help us out. As you can see, our stats hasn't changed terribly much. We do have an amount of gold, lots of experience, 18 torches, which we'll use for the dungeon, and not much upgrades in armor and weapons. However, number 2, not much has changed in terms of stats. Quite a bit of experience, not as much as Snape. No items, but we have managed to get him mace and chain, which is all he can use in terms of weapons and armor. Apart from exotics. Everyone can use exotic weapons and armor. Again, no stats changes, just health and experience, no items, two-handed sword and plate armor. Although you can use the two-handed sword and two-handed and +2 plate. Both are fighters. Lily is the ranger and Harry is a fighter, and they both can pretty much use all weapons and all armor. So that's what I managed to equip them, because that's what's available in this town, since I didn't really leave this town. And let's have a look at Harry. Again, no changes in stats, some changes in health. I just finished healing him. I went through to heal all of them, but I didn't have enough gold, so I went back and got some more. Of course, there was some fights in the process, so the only time that I haven't fought after getting someone healed is just now with Harry. As you can see, experience, no items, health increase, and again, two-handed sword and plate, which makes Lily and Harry the most valuable players. But without stat increases, they can't really utilize their skills. So, just to show you the healer that I used right here in Lord British's castle. I haven't been able to manage a way past there yet, but I'll figure that out. We haven't figured out where to get our stats increases so far. We can get to the ship. I showed you where the ship behind Lord British's castle is. There's a gate there, then just up to the northwest a little bit. There's another gate which you can unlock, which then you can get out to the ship via there. You can't do anything. You can't get the ship outside of the moat. But there is a person hiding on a small little island in the corner out the back. And he gave us a nice little hint. I'll show you how to do that soon, as I don't have any keys. What I want to show you guys is the hints, and I've set up my production software in order to do so. So here they are. They're in no particular order at the moment, so let's just go through them. Quest ye unto lost ambrosia. Only with exotic arms can you win. Dawn comes each new pair. Dawn rises in the dark forest. Seek ye the shrines of truth. I've been beyond the whirlpool. May not sound like a hint, but there is a hint there. Particularly since the whirlpools tend to move around. If we can get a ship, we can go investigate in the whirlpool. Whether we die or not is another story. We can bribe guards, and they will leave. There's one place where you have to bribe in order to get in there, and I'll explain to you that shortly after I go through the moon gates and all the other locations I've found. Only exotics will protect from great evil. Well, yeah, of course. We've already figured that one out. Exotic clues found at dawn. Well, I did go to dawn, although I think it's actually pronounced fawn, but we can go there and have a look at some point, maybe not, because you can't get there any other way. Anyway, I'll explain that later. Where were I? Seek the Jester in Castle Fire. Well, I've got a theory about that. 4 cards, 4 panels. We'll get more hints about those later on. Cards are useful. Well, go figure. Insert cards into panels. Again, that's more about the cards that we don't have to worry about just yet. Marks are useful, and I actually found a place where we can get a mark. And we'll do that when we go spelunking, since, well, the marks are located in the dungeons. So this is not a game where you can avoid going through the dungeons. But that aside, marks are useful, exotics are useful. Well, no duh. Hot metal leaves a mark. Well, that's a big clue there. In the dungeon, there's these rods, and yeah, we'll go through it again later. The king favours a mark. Well, that's the king mark, or mark of the king, which Lord British just told me to go get. So we'll go get it and come back and go talk to Lord British once I've finished everything else here, because I'm sure this is going to be a long episode. The king, a mark involves this. A mark helps invoke the snake. Seek ye the dungeon of fire. Well, I do have a lot of dungeons. There's only 2 dungeons that actually have a name to them. Darian's Pit and Perennian Falls, I think. Perennian Falls is known in the Nintendo version as the Dungeon of Gold. And there's a reason for that. Seek ye, mark thee well. Well, which pretty much means everyone's got to have a mark. 4 marks, 4 uses. Don't know what those 4 uses are, but we'll get there. To pass, you need a mark. Well, we'll all get marks. I'm sure when everyone reaches level 6, Lord British will tell them what mark they should get. Maybe, maybe not. A mark might be a way of increasing the stat points, for all I know. Invoke the Silver Snake. We'll get to that when we come, because I believe I've actually found it. I'll show you on the map later, as I go through the map and explain the moon gates. Pray in the Circle of Light. A bit ambiguous, that is. I've tried praying in the moon gates and around the moon gates and stuff like that. No such luck. Pray for the invocation. Well, I'm assuming that's for the Silver Snake. And 4 cards, 4 slots. Well, that sort of figures, doesn't it? Okay, we'll just switch over to the... Oh yeah, the other things I wanted to go through. Wizard spells. Oh. Sorry. I've done my best to sort of put a human, an English name to each of these spells. Repond is dispel magic or dispel magical creature, which are trolls, orcs, and I can't remember the other one. Mitar, magic missile, as I probably explained. Lorum, which is glimmer. It's a very short form of light, so it only lasts for like 2 or 3 rooms. Ascend and descend, for dungeon crawling, similar to ladder up and ladder down as in previous Ultima 1 and 2. Fireball, I have Fulgar Fireball, is essentially a stronger version of magic missile. I mean, you could say Mitar is like a lesser fireball if you wanted, but the description led me to believe it was more like magic missile, because the description describes picking something up, infusing it with magic, and it firing off to your enemy. Whereas the description for Fulgar is more flame. You invoke the power of the flame, mass it into a ball, and fire it off to your enemies. So, Dag Akron, Blink, which it randomly teleports you into a random location, usually within an X amount of distance. Mentar, Mentar is probably a Latin derivative from mental, so it's confuse or confusion. Dag Lorum, same as Lorum, but lasts much longer, so like a greater light, if you will. Foul Divi, cast clerical spell. You cast that Divi, Foul Divi, then you get to cast a clerical spell. Noxum, or otherwise known as Greater Fireball, the description was much similar to Fulgar, except just much grander. Decorp, that just ended up being similar to Kill. Altar, that was quite obviously Stop Time. Dag Mentar, and is Greater Confuse, as you can see with Dag Lorum, which is sort of like Greater Glimmer, or light. Dag Akron, that would be Greater Location. And Necorp is Rot. The last spell on the list there has no name specifically, but it is akin to either Mass Kill or Armageddon, so I just went with Armageddon. That just gives you a rundown on basically what they're like. Clerical spells, Pontari, dispel undead, skeletons, zombies, and there's one other I still can't remember. Apar Unum, disarm trap, usually with chests. Most of the chests that you find will be trapped with poison, bomb, or any other variant. Sanctu, heal. Luminar, enchant. I'm not exactly what that's about though, whether it's enchant weapon or what. We'll figure that out once we get more stats. Reksu, ascend, Rekdu, descend. Basically a clerical version of ladder up and ladder down. Librek, however, is a useful one, which is escape. But I don't think the character has enough. It doesn't have enough mana to be able to cast that spell. Each spell, whether it be clerical or wizard, each spell starts, say, A costs 0 mana, B costs 5 mana, C 10, D 15, and so forth down the list, incrementing by 5s. Our court is pretty much cure, as in cure poison. This one's got me confused, as you probably see that 2 of them are pretty much labelled resurrect, so I'm assuming you got lesser resurrect, which brings your character back to life, but with no health. And then you got Samine, which is pretty much a clerical version of light. Sanctumani, which is greater heal. As we go into Ultima 5 and 6, you'll start to understand that Mani means greater. I don't know how to pronounce this one, so Vida, which is sort of like Magical Eye or Magic Map or Wizard's Eye, if you will. Ekon, Dispel Evil, probably similar to Pontaria, which is Dispel Undead. It probably just sort of kills all creatures with an evil intent. Sumandam, Resurrect. I assume this is sort of like your average resurrect spell. Brings your character back to life with, say, half health. I'm assuming. The descriptions on those 3 resurrect ones are pretty vague. That O, which I wouldn't even bother pronounce, which is Mass Kill Evil. I assume it's Mass Kill Evil. Its description again is very vague, except for the Mass Kill part. And Anju Somani, which, from what I can understand, is Greater Resurrect. In other words, the wording on that one was bring your party member back from the ashes. So basically, even if there's no body, you're able to resurrect your party member. So I assume that's the same as having your party member being resurrected with full health. So that's that. We'll go to the map now. Managed to find out where most of these things are located. As you may remember, we had number 1, Castle Lord British marked out. We didn't have Death Gulch marked out at number 2, but we do now. I've pretty much figured out where that was. That's the one that you've got to bribe to enter. There's a guard standing at the gate. So, yeah, I've tried to bribe him, but I didn't have much money, less than 100 gold, so I don't know how much gold you need. Holy City of Moon, which we already figured. Monta East and Monta West, we already figured. City of Fawn, and I figured out where that location was by pirate ship. I got a pirate ship at one point. I don't have it anymore because I died, so I had to reload. The only reason why I reloaded is because I didn't have any way to get 500 gold for the resurrection cost. You'll eventually find, if you haven't noticed, that I have actually resurrected one of my characters because the food doesn't go down at the same rate. It goes down at the same rate, but at differing times. The City of Grey, we already figured that one out. Monta West, we've been through that. City of Yi, we knew where that was. And then Devil Guard. I changed it to Devil Guard because when you walk in, that's pretty much what it says. It doesn't say Devil Guard. And we noticed that there was a mountain range in the middle of the map where it's marked 9 that we couldn't get into physically, but we used the moon gates to get in there. The City of Britain we already know about. So that's 2 question marks on the map gone, but we have managed to add in pretty much all the dungeons. There is still 1 question mark there in the middle of the ocean, along with the moon gate, number 5. There's a reason behind that, because that is an island that popped up after the map was drawn, essentially. Now, for the moon gates, I did have them randomly allocated a number until I realised what the addressing was, essentially. As you can see on the side of the screen to the right, and there are a number of valid gate addresses. The first number is to do with the moon Tramel. The second number is to do with the moon Heluka. Now, the first number is the source gate address, and the second number is the destination gate address. So, when I realised that, I set all the moon gates to their primary address, and essentially you can tell where every one of them goes. Each one of the moon gates go to 3 separate locations. except for a few of them, which is 0, Moongate 0, 3, and 7, I believe. Those 3 refer to themselves. So that's a bit weird, but there might be a reason behind that. But we'll figure that out soon enough. But as you can see, Moongate 0 is located near the city of Moon. Moongate 5 is in the middle of the ocean. Moongate 7 is near Death Gulch. It doesn't actually go directly to Death Gulch. It's in the mountainside, so you can't actually get outside of the mountain. So you have to go into the dungeon, which is located just north of the Moongate. From there, you probably can go through the dungeon into Death Gulch. I don't know, because I haven't spelunged to that particular dungeon. Moongate 1 is beside another dungeon. I'll go through the dungeons at a later date. Then we got 2, which is 2 and 4 are located what seemingly appears to be near number 9, which is Devil Guard. However, they are located in their own special small region, which is only like 3 spaces long. So 2 is the north gate and 4 is the south gate, and there's no way to get out of there other than those particular moon gates. Moongate 5 is, of course, the one in the middle of nowhere. 6 is the one that actually leads you to Devil Guard. And yes, there is a sort of island, a sort of lake in there. And number 7, which is on number 3, is to the west of Montauk West. Number 7, that's right, near Death Gulch. Okay, now inside each of these dungeons, Dungeon 1, which I'll flash up here, is called Dardane's Pit. It's the one directly north of Lord British's castle. This one here, to the northeast of Lord British's castle, is Perennial Depths. Now, Dungeon 3, the clue for that one, when you enter it and find the sign, which you just walk past a random wall and it comes up, this ancient text basically says, "Welcome, fools, to your doom." So that is Dungeon Doom, which I'll flash on the map for you, which is just north of the city of Grey. Oh no, I was flashing the wrong one. It's just west of, on the west coast, or the southwest peninsula of Montauk West. Dungeon 4, which is here, is called the Mines of Moriana, or Morina. Just flash that a little bit so you can see that's the one that's north of City of Grey. It's only the ones near Lord British's castle that you don't really need to be concerned too much with. Except I use the Perennial Depths for harvesting gold. Now this one says, "Beware the fires of hell." So we can safely say this is Dungeon of Fire, which is located south of Lord British's castle, but to the west of Death Gulch. Then we got number 6. These are in no particular order, and it says clues to follow. So this one is near Moongate number 1, on its own little island, which I probably didn't go on about. Now, Dungeon 7, the sign says time await, so we can assume that's the time of dungeon of time. Which is, of course, in the mountains of Death Gulch, just near Moongate number 7. Now, these Moongate numbers also are relative to time. So, when, as you can see on the moon boxes, on the video capture, whoops. As we move around, the moon gates will change, or the moons will change, and that's pretty consistent across each and every day. So what we're going to do is we're going to, since I know the Mark of the Kings is in this dungeon, we'll enter this dungeon, which is Ignite Torch, which if we walk here, it comes up with Misty Writing, Perennial Depths. If we walk this way, it says the same thing. There's usually multiple signs. Each dungeon entrance, each level entrance will have its own sign as well. Now, this is one of the places I would go to harvest some gold, and right here is an illusionary wall, which if we walk through it, there's a single space of room, which I'm going to cast a clerical spell on it to disarm the trap. And then you just turn right, so that way heading south, and walk through the wall again. There's no other illusionary walls inside of it, so there's only one way to come out, and you can't reverse out of it. That's important. As for the rest, well, we'll go to the other chests on this level. And while we're there, bingo, red hot rod in the wall. Who will touch it? Well, since Snape needs the mark, as per Lord Bruce's request, we'll have him touch it. And as you can see, it's very annoying if you don't reverse out of it, but Snape's health went down a little. If we do Z stats for it, you can see it says Mark of Kings. In here you'll find 2 chests. So we'll cast some more magic. And voila, we cleared it out. So now what we need to do is hunt for a south. Oh, there's another chest here, but looks of it. Was it something else? Oh no, it was a chest. Huh. Go figure, eh? Okay. I didn't know the down was here. Happy coinky dink. So we just climb down. Oh, descend. And I haven't been to this level, so I don't expect any miracles. And you do tend to run into things. One of the things that you run into, particularly at doorways like this, is gremlins, which steal your food. You can't attack them or nothing. So when you've got lots of food like me, it's very difficult. Now you can get poison fountains as well, so doesn't seem to be, and we'll just reverse back from it. Okay. Oh. Since none of our magics will work on it, except for something like Magic Missile, we'll just fight them like that. Oh. Now, did we just go around in circles? Or is it another up? No, I think we just went around in circles. The amount of gold in these chests is pretty random. Oh. Oh, light went out. You're gonna want a number of torches when spelunking, so... Yep. And we descend. Can we descend? Yep, we can go back, it says. Okay. Just trying each wall, see if there's any illusionary walls. Doesn't seem like it, so we'll have to climb up. Yep, same here. We'll just bump into each wall, which you can only bump into each wall, go through illusionary walls forward, not reverse. So we'll climb up. Same issue here, hence why it said go back. Okay, we'll climb. Okay, climb again. And this is the lowest level we can be on, is it? Oh, a strange wind. So we don't go that way, which is west. Strange wind. East. Okay, they all do it. Okay. Okay, that's a problem. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Rightio, this is going to be difficult. But from what I can tell, there is no discernible exit. There might be an illusionary wall, but we're not going to be able to find out, I don't think. Okay, we'll go north. Not here. Just checking for any illusionary walls. Okay, we'll head south. Not here. East. Not here. Not here. Okay, we'll check for illusionary walls to the south. Okay, I don't think we have any spells that can deal with that. So we'll advance our party members carefully. One thing you gotta worry about with wizards, and the fact that they've got daggers, is, well, they can throw them. The daggers are throwable, so if you're not within close range combat range, you will throw the daggers, and then the daggers will be forever lost. Bloody gargoyles. And of course, because we haven't gotten our stats up, they're more difficult than what we need them to be. Okay, good. I've lost many daggers by accident, because, well, my keyboard's pretty stuffed. East, we'll do this. Cast Clerical. See, that's what I love about that spell. When they actually work. A lot of the time they don't actually work, believe it or not. And yes, you can fire through your friends and hit the enemy. Without hurting your friends, of course. Oops. Yeah, I didn't expect that to work. All that. Not that it will fire off every single time you go to use it. I don't. No, great. Giants. In the ass. Oh, right, that's right. No, you can't really escape from battle. I really wish their mana would increase quite a bit more. But I might have to pause here as people are doing work. By the sounds of it, or making a fuss out there. I probably could do with a smoke anyway. Not doing too well. But we are getting there. Finally. All that for all gold. Okay, we'll climb up. So this is level 2. I'll pause the game here and come back in a bit. Okay, and we are back. Now, let's see if we can find another set of stairs. Yep. Well, that I knew it wouldn't work. That did. Although that won't work, that one should. And we knew that was stairs up. Oh. There's 2 stairs up. Okay, we might have to go up in order to go down. Oh. And I bet you there's a fountain here. Yeah. So we'll just back up. Oh. No, they're not going to work at the moment. No. That's fine. And this should work. Oh, damn. Oh no. Yeah, I think that was the central variant. Oh. Get out of that. Yeah, again. Another up. I will have to map these out, I think. When we create a gem, we'll do a screen capture and paste them side by side, that sort of thing. Okay, we'll climb out of this dungeon for now. It's possible we may have to use a descend command, which we don't have enough mana points in order to utilize properly. So we might have to come back to that and do one of the other, what was it, 5 dungeons? But we'll find out what this King's Mark is and see if it helps increase one of our stats at the very least. Because that's what I'm thinking, those marks being required might increase our stats. There's 4 stats, there's 4 marks. The marks are branded into your skin, so it's probably a fairly safe assumption that the marks help increase your stats with Lord British. Well, the only way to find out is I upgraded my child. And our stats didn't increase. Wow. That's a bit of a bummer. It's possible we need all... It's possible that we can have all marks on all characters. So 4 marks on each of the 4 characters, instead of a single mark on each character. And I'll just do that. Okay. In that case, I will probably leave this video here then, since it's gone over the half-hour mark anyway. That's a bit of a downer. But, yeah, we'll come back to that dungeon when we can cast Ascend and Descend, I think. Because there's supposed to be a room there. Yes, I cheated a little bit. Not enough to ruin the game, though. There's a room that's full of chests, so that would be interesting. On that bombshell, Top Gear reference, if you didn't know, we'll end the video. Adios amigos.